Hey ladies, welcome back. Today we're stepping into one of the most thrilling and often misunderstood aspects of intimacy, rough sex. Before your thoughts jump to extremes or scenes you've seen in movies, let's slow it down for a second and really understand what this is about. Because for men, it's rarely about being wild for the sake of it. It's about intention, presence, and energy. There's a layer to men that doesn't get talked about enough. A side that doesn't just want to feel desired, but completely consumed. A part of him that doesn't always want everything to be soft and gentle, but sometimes craves something bold, fearless, and unapologetic from you. Yes, from you. The woman who can step into that space with confidence, take control of the moment, and make him lose himself in it completely. And this isn't about changing who you are. It's about unlocking something that already exists within you. That daring, confident side that knows exactly how to ignite a kind of passion that leaves him speechless, shaken, and wanting more. You become the woman who doesn't just share pleasure, but owns the entire experience as if it was always hers to lead. In this video, we're walking through 5 rough sex moves that men don't just enjoy, but often secretly fantasize about. And it goes beyond just physical actions. These moves connect to something deeper. They're emotional, instinctive, and incredibly powerful when done with the right energy. They awaken a part of him that rarely gets space in everyday life. And when you step into that space with confidence, awareness, and sensual control, you'll see a completely different side of him unfold. So if you're ready to learn how to trigger that desire in all the right ways and become something he never expected but can't forget, stay right here. Let's begin with a move that truly drives him wild and how you can bring it in with confidence, precision, and your own feminine power. One powerful move is the sudden pin and whisper. There's something about combining surprise with closeness that creates an intense spark in a man. This move is all about building that perfect blend of tension and heat. One thing men secretly crave is being suddenly pinned, not in a harsh or painful way, but in a way that catches him off guard and makes him feel deliciously out of control. You don't need to overpower him physically. It's not about strength, it's about intention. It can be as simple as gently pushing him onto the bed, climbing on top, or holding his wrists down just firmly enough. It's not about force, it's about meaning. It's about showing that in this moment, you are leading everything. You are setting the rhythm, making the decisions, and letting him feel what it's like to be completely taken over by your desire. And this is where it becomes unforgettable. Once you've got him there, even if it's only for a few seconds, lean in slowly. Let the space between your lips and his ear fill with tension. Don't rush it. Let the anticipation build. Then whisper something that hits him deeply, something playful, daring, maybe even slightly naughty depending on your dynamic. The real power isn't just in the words themselves, it's in how you deliver them. It's your breath against his skin, the softness in your tone, the intensity in your eyes that silently says you're his right now and you're here to give him an experience, not ask for permission. This kind of rough doesn't leave marks on the body. It stays in his mind. It's psychological. It bypasses logic and drops him straight into feeling. That sense of being wanted in such a raw, undeniable way is something men deeply crave, even if they never put it into words. They don't always want to be the one performing. Sometimes they want to let go, to feel like you're leading, and they're simply experiencing it. What most people don't realize is that when a man feels safe enough to surrender like that, when he knows you're still aware, still connected, still grounded, that's when he opens up emotionally even more. Even in intense moments, because rough doesn't mean careless. It means intentional, focused, full of energy but wrapped in trust. It's intensity combined with connection. So next time, don't wait for him to lead. Take that step. Pin him gently, hold him there, whisper something that sends a reaction through his entire body. That mix of surprise, purpose, and your voice creates something unforgettable. Now let's move into another powerful shift, the hair grab and slow drag. There's something deeply instinctive about hair, not just the sensation, but what it represents: passion, hunger, control. One of the most overlooked but incredibly powerful moves is when you take hold of his hair with intention and use it to guide the moment. Most women are used to having their hair pulled, but when you reverse that dynamic, when you gently grip his hair at the base while kissing him or being on top, it creates a completely different experience for him. It's not about causing discomfort, it's about sensation. It's about expressing desire without needing words. It says you need something to hold on to because what you're feeling is intense. That kind of energy is addictive for a man. It pulls him deeper into the moment. He's not just present physically, he's experiencing it mentally as it unfolds, already knowing this is something he'll replay in his mind later. You don't need to be rough in a harsh way. The real magic is in the drag. Once you have a light but firm grip, gently pull his head back just enough to guide his movement or expose his neck. Look into his eyes and pause. That pause builds everything. It creates anticipation. In that stillness, he becomes completely focused on you. Then follow it with something softer. Your lips on his neck, your breath across his skin, your fingers moving slowly across his chest. That contrast between control and softness sends his mind into overdrive. He doesn't just feel it, he remembers it. You've created a moment where he feels both desired and vulnerable at the same time, and that combination is powerful. It's rare and it stays with him. This isn't just about physical attraction. It's about waking up a part of him that wants to be guided, that wants to feel handled with confidence. When you take that step, you're showing him that you know exactly how to make him feel something deeper. That kind of experience lingers. It becomes something he goes back to in his mind, not just because of what happened, but because of how it made him feel connected in that moment. So next time, instead of just lightly touching his hair, take hold of it with purpose. Show him your desire isn't quiet, it's strong, it's clear, it leads, and that moment will stay with him long after everything else fades. Now let's step into the third move, the hip grab and deep grind. There's a moment in intimacy where everything shifts from simple touch to unspoken communication. One of the most powerful things a man secretly longs for is when you take control of the rhythm. This is about slow, deep, intentional movement led by you, guided by the way you hold his body and keep him exactly where you want him. It's not about speed. It's not about rushing through anything. It's about depth, pressure, and control. When you place your hands on his hips or around his waist and hold him steady while your body moves with purpose, it creates a completely different experience for him. He feels something beyond the physical. He feels claimed. That grip, that steady hold, the way you pull him closer and don't let him move away, it lights something in his mind because it's not something he always experiences, but it's something he deeply wants. He wants to feel your need for him in a way that's undeniable. He wants to feel like you're moving for your own pleasure, not performing for his. That slow, controlled grind changes everything. It's not just physical anymore, it becomes psychological. Now he's not just part of the moment, he's being drawn into it, consumed by it. It carries an energy that says you belong in this moment and you're going to enjoy every second of it. That's real power. That's passion in its pure form. And when a man sees that you're not holding back, that you're fully in your body, confident and intentional, it flips a switch inside him. He's not watching something surface level. He's part of something real, something raw, something that stays with him. This kind of intensity isn't about aggression, it's about depth and control. It shows that you're not just present, you're leading, and that changes everything. It shifts the energy, it breaks patterns, and it allows him to feel just as open and desired as you often do. So next time you find yourself in that moment, don't hesitate to place your hands on his hips. Don't hold yourself back when you feel the urge to slow things down and move with a deeper, more controlled rhythm. Let him experience all of you. Let him understand that you're not just there to satisfy him, you're there to step forward, to guide, to take initiative. And trust me, that single confident action will stay on his mind for days, maybe even weeks. Because from that point on, whenever he thinks of you, he'll remember how you made him feel completely consumed. That sudden instant when you move over him and lock eyes. There's something deeply magnetic about being unpredictable, not messy or chaotic, but surprising in a way that feels natural and powerful. That's exactly what happens when you take that position over him. Not slowly, not with hesitation, and not waiting for approval, but with a grounded, confident presence. A swift movement where you settle into place like you truly belong there, followed by a steady, intense gaze that makes it clear you're fully present. This isn't about control for the sake of dominance. It's about expressing through your actions that you recognize your own strength. When you move toward a man without doubt, especially when it catches him off guard, you interrupt the usual pattern in a way that instantly captures his attention. His breathing shifts, his pulse quickens, and you can almost notice the exact moment his expression changes. That silent reaction that says everything just shifted. Hold that eye contact, not in a playful or shy way, but in a way that feels grounded, intense, and filled with intention. Look at him as if you're aware of every subtle reaction, as if you're completely engaged in the moment. That kind of presence does more than create attraction. It unsettles him in a way that draws him in deeper. Because eye contact in these moments isn't just about looking, it's about emotional tension and connection. When you hold his gaze, you're not just connecting physically, you're reaching into his thoughts, into his awareness. And the truth is, most men are used to experiences that are driven by motion, by speed, by a predictable rhythm. But when you shift that, when you sit close, lean in, and pause, when you allow the moment to breathe instead of rushing through it, you create something entirely different. When you don't move right away, when you let him feel your presence fully, the weight of your body, the strength of your stillness, you build anticipation in a way that's almost overwhelming. It's like a pause in the middle of a sentence where everything holds for just a second longer than expected. He starts wondering what comes next. He becomes completely absorbed in that space. And that's exactly where you want him, because it's in that moment where physical closeness meets emotional intensity that real desire begins to grow. It's not just about how you feel physically to him. It's about what it feels like to be fully seen by you, to feel chosen, to feel drawn in before anything even happens next. You become unforgettable not because of anything extreme, but because you understood how to hold that moment with purpose and confidence. Men may not always express it openly, but they crave that shift, that feeling of letting go, that moment when a woman steps forward and takes the lead, not as an act, but as a natural expression of who she is. That combination of unexpected movement and steady eye contact creates something lasting. It turns a simple interaction into a memory that replays again and again. Something that lingers in quiet moments when he's alone, thinking about how you made him feel both open and deeply wanted at the same time. So the next time you want to stay on his mind, don't wait for him to take the lead. Step into that role yourself. Hold his gaze, show him what it looks like when you choose to be remembered. And understand this clearly. Sometimes not giving everything immediately is exactly what builds deeper desire. This final shift is about understanding the strength of holding back, not in a cold or distant way, but in a controlled, intentional way. It's about creating a moment where he wants more, where he feels that pull so strongly that he almost asks for it without words. The approach is simple, yet incredibly effective. You bring him closer, physically and emotionally. You build that connection. You let the tension rise. You interact, you engage, you create warmth and closeness. And just when he feels like everything is about to unfold, you slow it down. You pause, you look at him with a quiet confidence, and let that moment stretch just a little longer. In that space, something rare happens. You create a gap between wanting and receiving. And that space is where imagination grows. That's where attraction deepens. That's where his thoughts begin to circle around you, thinking about you, wanting more of you, feeling that pull toward your presence. The reality is, most people are used to a predictable flow, a beginning, a build-up, and an expected outcome. But when you step outside of that pattern, when you shift the timing, when you rise and then pause, you create something far more engaging. It's not about playing games or withholding out of distance. It's about understanding rhythm. It's about knowing when to move forward and when to hold still. And when you do that, you don't just create excitement, you create attachment to the moment itself. Every time you allow that pause, every time you let anticipation build just a little longer, the experience becomes more intense. What follows feels more meaningful, more memorable, because it wasn't rushed, it was built. What truly stands out is a woman who understands her own energy, who doesn't rush to give everything away, but instead lets things unfold in a way that keeps him engaged. It's not about making him chase out of obligation. It's about creating a dynamic where he wants to naturally. When someone experiences that kind of connection with you, where timing, presence, and energy all align, it stays with them. It sets a different standard. The subtle message behind it is powerful. It shows that you move with intention, that you decide the pace, that you're not simply reacting, but creating the experience. And that kind of presence is deeply attractive. It leaves a lasting impression that doesn't fade easily. So the next time you're in that space with him, don't be afraid to slow things down slightly. Let the moment breathe. Let him feel that sense of anticipation just a little longer. That small shift can change everything, because when things finally move forward, it feels fuller, richer, more real. And you become the person he continues to think about long after the moment has passed. At the core of it all, it's important to understand that connection isn't just about physical actions. It's about the energy you bring into the space. These moments aren't about pretending to be someone else. They're about allowing the confident, expressive parts of yourself to come forward naturally. When you carry that kind of presence, when you understand timing, when to lead, when to pause, when to move, and when to stay still, you unlock something deeper. You're no longer just a passing moment. You become an experience, something that stays in memory, something that creates a lasting impression. And if this resonates with you, take a moment to reflect on it. Think about what stood out most to you. Think about how you can bring even a small part of this into your own interactions. Because confidence isn't about having everything figured out. It's about recognizing your value and allowing yourself to express it without hesitation. So move forward with that awareness. Be present, be intentional. Let your energy speak as much as your actions. And remember, what people truly connect with isn't perfection, it's authenticity. It's depth. It's that sense of real connection that touches both the mind and the emotions. Don't hold yourself back from that. Step into it. Even trying one small shift can change the entire dynamic. And when you notice that change, when you see it reflected back in the way he responds, you'll realize you've created something far beyond the surface. Something that lingers, something that stays, something truly unforgettable.